Now we start with a historic night for Arsenal as they reach the semi-finals of the Champions League for the first time in 16 years by knocking out holders Real Madrid.
Yeah, all the talk in Madrid was about remontada, wasn't it? The comeback with Arsenal leading 3-0 from the first leg. Well, it ended up, and forgive me for this, remonada, as the comeback failed to materialise.
I enjoyed that. No, I enjoyed it. Instead,
Not
Arsenal,
actual Spanish.
Instead, Arsenal were 2-1 winners at the Bernabeu and actually won the tie 5-1 on aggregate. That only tells half the story from what was a dramatic night in the Spanish capital.
Have you ever felt prouder than you are now of your players?
Probably not. Not only because we are in the semi-final for the third time in our history, but as well for the manner and the way we did it, not only by the way we played, but as well with the circumstances and the amount of injuries that we have. So I think overall, it shows the character of this team, of this club, and is a night to be very proud of.
Well, William Saliba may have been at fault for Real Madrid's goal, but he was key to Arsenal's defensive effort across the 90 minutes at the Bernabeu last night. He made 12 clearances. That's the most on the night and by an Arsenal player in a Champions League match since 2014.
Yeah, perhaps, though, their standout performer was this man, Declan Rice. He wasn't quite bending in free kicks like he was in the first leg, but he was absolutely key in their midfield, and his manager was very impressed.
Obviously, he's been decisive in the tie. Today, in a different way, I think it was immense. His presence, the power that he showed, how composed he was without the ball. I think he lifted the team in many moments and turned the game in our favour. And I think that's what you need, players at this level to step up and have big contribution, and he certainly has done that.
And right at the heart of the drama at the Bernabeu was Bukayo Saka, starting with that Penenka which was saved in the first half.
A former Premier League striker, Jay Bothroyd, was watching the match in the studio for us. He came through Arsenal's academy, so is very much a fan, and this was his reaction to Saka's penalty.
We've got a penalty! I can't believe it. This is great news for Arsenal. Where's my Arsenal shirt? I think we can get it out now because we're not conceding more than 4.
Be careful. This could come back to haunt you.
I feel confident for Saka. He's turned up in big occasions before. Come on, Saka.
Oh! Talk us through that,
Talk us through what's happened.
Can we come back to it? He's tried to dink it. It's poor. Courtois gone the right way. He's just put it around the post. Very disappointed from Saka.
You literally see Jay deflate,
I know.
don't you? Not a great moment for Saka. And Jay Bothroyd did look pretty much on the verge of tears, actually.
Yeah, he did, but we know things got a lot better for Bukayo Saka in the second half. This was Bothroyd's reaction to him giving Arsenal the lead.
There he is! Is he onside? There he is! He scored! He scored! It's 4-0, it's 1-0 on the night!
Pen's gone off the side, head carnage.
There it is, the game's over. I said to you, innit, we're going to score. I said it. Saka, mental toughness. He's turned up, he's scored a great goal. He's dinked it over the keeper. 1-0 on the night, 4-0 on aggregate. It's been a perfect performance. It really has been a perfect performance. Apart from that silliness with that dink, we don't care about that though. He's scored when it matters. He's turned up. He's a big guy. He's our talisman. 5 goals in 7 matches in the Champions League. Amazing.
That silliness didn't matter. Yeah, I wonder what Mikel Arteta though might have been thinking about Saka's penalty.
Yeah, he didn't give anything away afterwards, aside from praising his forwards' response.
Bukayo again, he stepped up. He didn't score, obviously. That could be a turning point emotionally in the game because he gives them a lot of belief. But then the way he handled the situation, the way he played afterwards, and the personality that he showed at his age, the first time that he plays in this stadium, incredible.
Well, let's get some more reaction to what was another great night for Arsenal now and speak live to Sophie Nicolau from the High Reef Squad podcast. Sophie, always a joy. Great to see you. What a night. How proud are you feeling right now of your team?
Hannah and Olivia, I'm exhausted rewatching all of that again, but I'm more than happy to watch highlights from these 2 legs over and over again. Very proud of the team. It's a joy to be an Arsenal fan this morning, and I think that we had a performance like that coming. It felt like a seminal moment and a coming of age for Mikel Arteta and this squad.
I mean, Sophie, Declan Rice turned into Lionel Messi in the first leg, and he was absolutely outstanding again in the second, but for different reasons. Where do you think he ranks amongst the Arsenal midfielders? Because you've had so many brilliant ones over the years.
Yeah, I mean, you saw both sides of Declan in the two legs. In the first leg, it was magical. Two free kicks that any player, including Messi, would be totally proud of. And then last night, you saw Declan Rice, the warrior. He was all over the pitch. He did exactly what Mikel Arteta wanted him to do, protected the ball, moved the ball, had Jude Bellingham in his back pocket. It was great to see, two of England's best go at it. And I would like to put the question of whether or not Declan Rice is world class to bed. Can we finally do that? Because I think he's proven over these two legs that he's well worth the 100 million that we paid for him. But also, he has this culture and personality that makes him feel like he's been an Arsenal player and come through the Hale End, and that he's been with the Gunners his entire career. It was just a beautiful moment to see a player like that own Real Madrid and have the spotlight.
Yes, Sophie, no question really about where he sort of ranks in terms of world-classness at this point. And Bukayo Saka's penalty being saved made the night perhaps a little bit more nervy than it needed to be. I'm sure you were tearing your hair out and that hat got ripped off. But what did you make of that? And then as well, hit the goal he did score.
I think Arsenal WhatsApp groups were absolute fire. But, we were all suffering from PTSD. No one could kind of watch. But Bukayo has put this team on his shoulders for so many years now. And if there was a player who had earned the right to try that, it is Bukayo. Maybe not in a semi-final at the Bernabeu against Real Madrid. However, he's the type of player that just doesn't hide. And in a time when Arsenal really didn't have too much to cheer about, Bukayo was the player that really gave fans something to love about the club again. And he's been absolutely sensational. His record speaks for itself. And to come back and not hide, and to be able to kind of immerse himself back into the game, shake it off, just shows the mentality monster that he's become. He's not only a world-class footballer, but he also mentally just continues to amaze me with how he's able to bounce back from adversity within a game. And I tell you, he's just an absolute, they call him the star boy. I think it's time that everyone started calling him the star man, because seeing him evolve the way he has just been really an amazing thing to witness.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I think Saka himself will probably have learned from that penalty as well. And the way he came back was absolutely brilliant. Now, Arsenal in general, they had the fewest shots of any side across those quarterfinals, both legs. But they had the joint most shots on target and scored 5 goals. Now, with PSG next, should PSG be worried? I mean, I watched the PSG Aston Villa game, and the chances that Aston Villa had across both fixtures. Are you worried about PSG at all? Should PSG be more worried about Arsenal, perhaps?
I think because of the Premier League history and Unai Emery's record against Mikel Arteta, most Arsenal fans would rather face PSG than Aston Villa. You've got the Premier League rivalry there as well. Now, we may not have a great pedigree in Europe, and last night is going towards maybe evolving that. But what we do have a great pedigree in Europe is PSG and our record against PSG. They've never beaten us in Europe. And I'm rocking the bow tie today here for my former co-host and good friend, Super Kevin Campbell, who probably would have been on the show today rocking his bow tie. The last time that we won a European trophy was the Cup Winners' Cup in '94, Super Kev scoring a pivotal goal against PSG in the second leg at Highbury. So I think most Arsenal fans will feel confident going into this game. I'm sure we're going to hear a similar narrative. Can they do it the same way we did against Real Madrid? We proved everybody wrong. Luis Enrique, I think, is a very underrated manager. They tried to do it the Galacticos way with Neymar and Messi and Mbappe, and it didn't work at PSG. And now they've got a young team, an exciting team, and they're probably playing the sexiest football of any team in Europe right now. It's not going to be easy, but Arsenal playing against teams like PSG, not as defensive, I think gives us a really good opportunity to take advantage the same way we did against the Galacticos.
Sophie, you mentioned Kevin Campbell, loving the bow tie detail on your mic as well, in a nod to the great man. I think I know how you're going to answer this one, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Yes or no, will Arsenal win the Champions League?
Why not us? We've come this far. Hope is not a plan, but dreaming is part of football, and it's a beautiful moment for the club. And Mikel Arteta deserves a tremendous amount of credit, especially considering the adversity we faced with injuries this season. Some people say we've regressed in the Premier League. We haven't done as well, but in the Champions League, we're a different personality. We've taken on a different persona. And a shout out to players like Kivior and Mikel Merino, who've had to step in, unsung heroes. And because of players like that, maybe we can go all the way. Everyone's stepping up and doing their part. We're playing like a team with confidence. We've got the belief. We've got the eye of the tiger. Come on, the Arsenal.
Arsenal have sent a thunderous message to Europe by eliminating defending champions Real Madrid from the UEFA Champions League, completing a commanding 5-1 aggregate victory with a dramatic 2-1 win at the Santiago Bernabeu. Mikel Arteta's young gunners, brimming with confidence and composure, have now booked a tantalizing semi-final clash with Paris Saint-Germain. All eyes were on whether Real Madrid, kings of the competition with 14 titles, could mount a legendary comeback after being thrashed 3-0 in the first leg at the Emirates. But Arsenal weren't in the mood for drama. They arrived in Madrid with a plan and executed it to near perfection. Bukayo Saka, once again the heartbeat of this Arsenal side, played the role of hero and heartbreaker. After seeing a cheeky Panenka penalty saved by Thibaut Courtois in the first half, the England international responded in style, dinking a sublime finish over the Belgian keeper in the second half to silence the Bernabeu and extend Arsenal's aggregate lead to 4-0. Real Madrid sparked brief hope for the home crowd when William Saliba was dispossessed by Vinicius Jr., who coolly slotted home to level the match on the night. But even with Madrid pressing and the fans urging another miracle, Arsenal's composure never wavered. With the game deep into stoppage time, Madrid threw bodies forward, only to be punished by a lightning-fast Arsenal counter. Gabriel Martinelli broke free, racing half the length of the pitch before burying the winner, sealing a historic result and sparking wild celebrations on the Arsenal bench. This was no fluke. Over 2 legs, Arsenal outclassed Real Madrid tactically, physically, and mentally. Arteta's men have now beaten the most successful club in Champions League history, and they've done it in style. With PSG now waiting in the semi-finals, Arsenal's European dream burns brighter than ever. This young, fearless team is writing its own legacy, and who's to say it won't end with a trophy in their hands?